everyone, it's Mrs. Hardigan, and we are in our next lesson for Farm to Table, and today we're going to learn about food webs and the energy pyramid. So here's what we're going to do today. Answer the question, what is a food chain? Watch a brain pop video on food chains. Answer the question, what is an energy pyramid? And watch a brain pop video on energy pyramids. And then there are two games you can play that go with each one of those pieces. You can choose to play one of those, or if you want to, you can play both of them. But I want you to at least play one of them. Then you're going to build a food web or energy pyramid out of stuffed animals, or drawings if you don't have enough stuffed animals or any stuffed animals. And then you're going to share your food webs with your classmates. So let's get started. Here's a funny food chain comic. The bear's eating the human's eating the fish is eating the dog is wanting to eat the cat, but the cat's asleep, and the bird is eating the worm, and the worm is eating the little piece of grass. So the dog says, hey, wake up, you're holding up the food chain. Ha ha ha. All right, so what's a food chain? The term food chain describes the order in which organisms or living things depend on each other for food. Every ecosystem or community of living things has one or more food chains. Most food chains start with organisms that make their own food, such as plants. Scientists call them producers. So last week we looked at photosynthesis. Plants make their own food, and that food gets trapped in their leaves or their seeds or their fruits or their vegetables, and then we eat those things and we get the plant's energy that originally came from the sun. Here is a video on food chains that I want you to watch, and then a fun food chain game. What is an energy pyramid? An energy pyramid is a model that shows the flow of energy from one trophic or feeding level to the next in an ecosystem. The model is a diagram that compares the energy used by organisms at each trophic level. So down here at the bottom, we have the plants. Then we have primary consumers. These are animals that just eat plants. Then we have secondary consumers. These are animals that eat plants. And then we have the top of the energy pyramid. These are animals that eat anything below them on the pyramid. And by the time the energy from the sun, from the plants, makes its way up to the top, we've lost a lot of that energy. So these types of animals have to eat a lot more. And here's a video on energy pyramids. And here's a fun game called Food Fight. So this is what you're going to need for today's activity. A wide assortment of stuffed animals, and if you can't find stuffed animals, you could also draw them on paper or print them out on a computer. You're going to need string or yarn or tape to show sort of how things are connected, and you'll probably need a computer for research to find out what kinds of things eat what other kinds of things. So on the next couple of slides, I've given you step-by-step directions. The first thing you need to do is find a whole bunch of animals that would seem to fall in the same food chain. I also got some things out of my cupboard, and I'll explain that when I show you. And if you can't find anything, you could draw them on paper or print them out with your computer. Then you're going to do some computer research and find out how that food web or food chain is set up. And then you're going to label each animal, and then use something like string or tape to show the connections, and then take a picture and post it on our collaboration page. So I started out, I just put down a blue blanket because my food web is in the ocean. I'm just moving some stuff out of the way here. Then what I did was I laid out all of these animals. So I had some roasted seaweed, which was my plants. I used some Legos to show plankton. Then I have a stuffed animal of a hermit crab, a nautilus, a seahorse, a sea snail, a clownfish, and then I just drew some small fish because I didn't have any other small fish. And then I have an octopus, a can of tuna fish, a sea turtle, a whale, a shark, a ray, and a place for human. Then I laid it all out. So these are the bottom of the food chain. The plankton and the seaweed are sort of the base where all the food energy comes from. And then the hermit crab, the nautilus, the seahorse, and the sea snail, they all feed on seaweed and plankton. Then the clownfish eats some of these pieces, and small fish eat some of these pieces. Then the octopus can eat the fish, the tuna fish can eat the fish, the sea turtle can eat the fish, the whale eats plankton, which is interesting, and generally doesn't eat these other things, but sometimes it happens. And then the ray eats the octopus, and the shark eats the ray, and the human eats the octopus, the tuna, and sometimes the shark. Now, I don't eat shark because I kind of figure if I don't eat them, they won't eat me, but some humans do eat sharks. So this is the food web I created, and I just linked them all together with orange string, and then I took a picture of myself and my food web all together. This is where you would post your picture of your food web. And that's it for today's lesson. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you guys have a wonderful spring break. Be safe, be healthy, and I'll see you guys next week after spring break is over.